But now, around the world, all kinds of things are happening in the name of spiritual process. Once it happened, there was a jackal. The jackal was getting old, having difficulty finding food in the forest. People who have never been in nature always think nature is very gentle, nature is very kind. That's because they saw nature only in the movies. They've never been out in the forest. They don't know what it takes to live there. Nature is very discriminating between strength and weakness. It lets only the strong live. The weak, it'll absorb out of its love. It's nice to think so, okay? So, the jackal was having difficulty finding food. One day, it saw a huge pack of rats, thousands of them, going together, running in a direction. Then he looked at this, wow, this is an unlimited source of food. Not one, thousands and thousands of them, and they're all running into one hole. Now that looks like paradise, full of food, you know. But if you run after them and try to catch them, at the most you may catch one or two. A jackal lives not by his physical strength, but by his cunning. So he started thinking. Then, one day in the evening, by… what time did you arrive here? 5:30? You started morning, okay. By 5:30 in the evening, he went and stood in front of this hole, the rat hole, on two legs. Jackal has… how many legs shall we give him? 4. Okay, we'll make it 4. He was standing on two legs, like this, two legs up, his face slightly upturned. You got me. With a slightly upturned face, but he had his mouth open. You don't do that, hmm? Can somebody demonstrate? Just like that. He just stood there like that. Then, as the sun was setting, the rats, it was time for them to move out. They came, they saw the jackal and ran back. Danger. But slowly again and again, they need to come out. They came and saw the jackal looks totally harmless and standing like a statue. I'm sorry, like a yogi. And slowly they came and they moved little away around, what's happening here? But he just stood there, completely not interested in them. Then they gathered, a huge gathering happened. And then the leader of the rat clan, a big one, came and asked, "Oh jackal, what are you doing here? Why are you standing on two legs when you have 4? Which is a more stable way of locomotion, you know." He said, that is just to avoid putting all my weight on this planet, because for who I am, this planet cannot bear my weight. So, 2 legs, I hold it up so that the planet doesn't crumble, so that all of you don't suffer. Oh, that's a very noble thought. That's very nice of you. We don't want the planet to crumble. But why do you have your mouth open? Because open mouth, a jackal's open mouth is very threatening for the rats. They said, why do you have your mouth open? He said, that's because I eat only air, I am a pavahari. Nothing else but air. That's why I'm continuing to consume air. They said, that's very encouraging. That looks safe. But then why are you looking up? He said, that's because I'm constantly in contact with the divine. Then all the rats said, oh, this is marvelous. We have a sage, a great sage, who is concerned about the planet's well-being, who eats only air and constant communication with the divine. What more? They all gathered around him and they discovered new kinds of rituals which they had seen in the temples, and it started happening. So they do all this, and in the morning when they're leaving, they have to go back into their hole. When they're going, the last bunch of them, when they're leaving, the jackal gets on his 4 legs and grabs a few of them. Every day in the morning, he has a nice huge breakfast and he rests during the day when the rats don't come out. Evening 5:30, ready. So, he became immensely popular, more rat colonies started visiting him and so many things started happening. One day, one of the lieutenants of the rat chief went and said, "Oh my lord, I do not know, I cannot think of anything as to what is happening, but I think our numbers are dwindling." One went away. Our numbers are dwindling, I cannot figure out any reason, nothing has happened. And the rat chief started thinking, what could be the reason? And then he noticed the jackal is getting fatter by the day. Here the numbers are dwindling and he's getting fat. He doesn't look like he's living on air. If you live on air, you should become like thin air over a period of time. So one day, he decided to stay back in the morning, hid himself elsewhere to see what's happening, and then he discovered the whole secret of the sage. There are too many like this. There are too many. And they're getting fatter by the day. And this has caused immense damage to the very seeking in people. Because if there is no trustful ambience, there will be no spiritual process as such. To maintain the sanctity of this, that people in the last row need not worry if they are going to be eaten up, or rather, people in the first row that they need not worry about their security and safety and what is going to happen to them. If this cannot be put down, there will be no spiritual process. Unfortunately, even in this land, which has been so steeped in spiritual process of every kind, when I say every kind, you have not even imagined how many kinds. This is a land that has witnessed every kind of spiritual process. 1 billion different ways as to how to approach your interiority, not one kind, 1 billion different ways. We even have 33 crore gods. That is when we had 33 crore population. Do you understand? This is very beautiful and symbolic to tell you that for every kind of human being, we opened a doorway. I think the best compliment for this possibility was paid by one of the sharpest American minds. That's Mark Twain. Mark Twain said, he visited India for a little over 3.5 months, and when he was leaving, he said, anything that can ever be done, either by man or God, has been done in this land. So much has happened, but in recent times, we have brought about a situation, even in the spiritual spheres, that people are beginning to wonder, is this really true? So creating an atmosphere, creating an ambience of grace, where one can just relax, melt and merge into that is most important. Can we meditate? Sit with your hands open, palms facing upward, slightly upturned face. Do not open your mouth. Eyes closed, mouth closed.